All right, let's talk about how water can be a great example of how to grow your business, okay? And do it in a way that you are aligned, you are in flow, just like water. So we've heard this many, many times from Buddhists, the fact that water is so gentle in the way that it flows, yet it's also so powerful in the way that it could wear down rock. Okay. So when you look at that, and then you even look at the fact that, Bruce Lee even shared with us, be water, my friend, right? Just be easy, go in that flow instead of trying to go against the current and against the grain. So, in what ways does that help you out financially and in your business? Well, here's something that I wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to give you a little bonus. So make sure you watch this entire video. Now, when it comes to this, yes, it is important for you to be able to flow. The issue that so many of us have had, including myself, I had this issue in the past, and that is wanting to predict everything, right? We all say, the numbers are going to tell us, and although that is true, you have to be flexible enough and be able to flow enough to be able to shift and do things differently when needed. And so there's a lot of things in business that you are just not going to be able to predict. So for example, I have this video. I don't know who's going to see it. That's not my job to figure it out, right? That is God's job to do that part, the how of how people are going to find the video, who's going to watch the video, how much of the video they're going to watch. That's up to the Lord and the YouTube algorithm, okay? I ain't got nothing to do with that. So being in flow, making sure that the content that you put out is the kinds of things that people want to hear, need to hear in order for it to be of some impact and some benefit to them. And so when you're creating things like content, or you're creating your courses or products or offers, that you are doing things in flow, there have been plenty of times where I just knew that whatever it is that I was going to end up with as my final product was going to be really good, because I kept hitting all these snags along the way. Child, it's like the Wizard of Oz. I was Dorothy on the yellow brick road, honey, and all of these obstacles and distractions, like the Wicked Witch was trying to throw things at me on the pathway, child. I was falling asleep with the poppies, or I was running from the monkeys, child, the flying monkeys or something, child. It was always something, child. But I knew I was going to make it to the Emerald City. And that is how I was able to start creating success in my business. You're on a path, you're on a journey that is not straightforward. It's going to have twists and turns. So consider it like that, or consider it like a winding staircase. Sometimes you feel like you're going in circles, but I promise you, you're still headed up. You are headed to your destination. You're going to reach that next level. Amen. Amen. Okay. So when it comes to that, being in flow, and one of the best ways that you can do that is stay plugged into your source. Stay plugged into whatever you want to call him, or even if you want to call her, okay, do whatever you need to do. Whether it's, Allah, if it's Buddha, child, I don't know. I don't know. But for me, it's God. And to have that connection and allow yourself to be on the same frequency so that you can receive the messages and receive the promptings to know what the next step is. A lot of us want to know all the steps. Again, we're not God. We don't need to know all the steps in front of us. We don't need to know how things are going to come to be. We just need to be very clear on what it is we want and take the steps to get there. So that's always really important. Now, here's something else that I've noticed. When it comes to being in flow, that's one thing. But something else that I notice about so many of us, and again, this was me in the past, is this focus on containment, or the focus on conserving. Conserving. When it comes to conserving, I think you have to think about what heart you're coming from, what intentions you're coming from. Because if you are trying to conserve things, a lot of the time, especially with clients that I've coached, A lot of the time, they want to hold on to things and conserve, saying it's because they want to be responsible. But in all actuality, when it gets all the way down to it and we peel back them layers, what it really is a fear. It's a fear of lack. And that's why they want to save all the money they can. And I want you to remember that these things like money are really not any different from other resources that we have on this planet, like sunlight and oxygen and water. It is no different. If you've got running water, you know that you're always going to have water. You know you're going to be able to take a shower. You know you're going to be able to cook, right? So you don't sit there and say, "Oh, you just never know when the faucet ain't going to run. So let me fill up buckets and buckets and buckets of water just in case, cuz you just never know." That stems from a fear that there's going to be lack at some point. It comes from a fear that, oh, one day the good times going to stop rolling. Let the good times roll until, right? And at some point, it's all going to come to an end. And I'm scared of that. And I don't want to be stuck when that happens. So I'm just going to hold on and conserve. No, no. Because, like I said, if you look around, you will see the evidence of God Himself and the fact that God is abundant and wants to give to you in abundance. Think about all the things that He gives you right now that a lot of times we don't pay any attention to, and we ain't trying to conserve all of that either. For example, look at sunlight, right? Sunlight is beautiful. And yes, it goes away when it's time for night, but there's a time for the sun to be out and a time for it not. Now, I'm not talking about them parts of the world where it's like bright. Well, maybe I am because they super abundant in the sunlight. But but you know what I'm saying. Typically, you got your 12 hours a day, your 12 hours a night, right? So when you're looking at that, we don't sit there and say, "Uh-oh, you just never know when the sun going to stop burning. You never know when we're going to run out of electromagnetic force. You never know when we're going to run out of, the sunlight and the vitamin D. So guess what? I'm going to go get me some containers and I'm going to try to bottle it all up. I'm going to bottle up as much sunlight as I can, store it in my shelves in the cellar or something. I got to hold on to it because you just never know." That's fear, fear, fear. We're always talking fear. And the truth is that when we do that, we are focused on believing that there is such a thing as two types of power. Two, that there is this good power and this bad power, right? We start believing like we live in the land of Star Wars, child. Like all of this, the forces of good and evil. And don't get me wrong. I know evil exists and sickness and disease and poverty exist, but they don't have to exist for you. That doesn't have to be a part of your world, your reality, and your life experience. So now that you know that, why not live that? Why not have the alternative experience of being able to enjoy abundance on every level, in every way, in every area of your life? Why not? Right? Same thing with oxygen. We're not sitting up there like, oh, what a wonderful day. But you never know. Although I can't see oxygen and I know it's abundant, you just never know. It could run out. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give me some containers. I'm gonna put all the oxygen, get the oxygen up in the chair. I gotta get the oxygen. And I'm gonna store it somewhere for just in case. Cause I don't want nobody taking my oxygen from me. I don't want nobody taking my sunlight from it. No, we don't do that with those things. And yet we do that with money though. And a lot of other things going on in our lives. And when it comes to money, yes, there are people that save. I save. But if you're saving from the heart of fear, if you're saving because your objective is for an emergency, I need an emergency fund. I'm scared something's going to happen. Oh no, another COVID is coming. Oh, if your actions are rooted in a belief of something to be afraid of or something evil or negative, we are now giving power to that negative. And that's the only way it has power. God has told us the battle is not ours, it's His. He has told us that He has brought every enemy under Jesus's feet. And where Christ is, so are we in this world. And so the enemies are underneath us. And we continue to believe that something's out to get us, something's to attack us, right? It's the powers and principalities coming to get you. They have no power over you. You have been restored dominion. You have been restored to your proper place as reigning on earth. And when we realize that, and that there is only one power, there is only one that truly existed, that truly has any real power at all. Only one. When I came to that realization, it just set me completely free. I ain't never been so liberated, child. Whew. Like girl, look, I don't even know how else to say it. There's only one. And instead of us focusing our attention and taking our energy and our power and now giving it over to the negative, which is exactly what Adam and Eve did, we going to repeat their mistake? Or are we going to focus on the tree of life, not of knowledge of good and evil? We're going to focus on the tree of life, which was also in the midst of the garden. Hello. And that tree of life, when we realize that that's all about abundance, joy, peace, being connected to your source. When we realize that, that's when you realize your power. You realize, oh, I'm unstoppable. And that is the way that I like to show women how to grow their businesses, because it's the way that I've grown mine. It is the way that I was able to relocate on the other side of the country in just 3 weeks' time, which I got to share that story. I'm gonna share that story very soon. But hunty, okay, if this is what you're looking to do, let's stop focusing on the lack. And again, even when it comes to the money, you know, there's nothing wrong with saving if you're saving for a purpose and an intention. And it is not the intention of something bad gonna happen to me. God's got you. And I know some people are really not going to get this. It's going to go over their heads and they're going to want to argue with me and they're going to tell me I'm being careless or that don't make no sense or whatever. But again, you have to get yourself to a certain level of spiritual understanding to get what I'm saying. I'm going to just put it like that. Because when you are there, you will see exactly what I'm showing. You're going to be able to pick up what I'm putting down. Okay. So let's focus on that. Let's focus on the fact that God is abundant. He will always supply because his supply is inexhaustible. There is no way that you're going to run out of leads. There's no way that you're not going to be able to grow your audience. There's no way that you're not going to have enough views and enough follows. There's no way you're not going to get enough sales. You're going to get more than enough. And one of my favorite Bible verses is Ephesians 3:20, where God will do exceedingly abundantly above all that you could ever ask or think. I got to shake the hair. All of it, honey. Right? That, how else are you supposed to take that? Anything you could even think of, imagine, or dream up, he can do exceedingly abundantly above all that. And you think he's not going to do that for your business? He's done it for your sunlight. He's done it for your oxygen. Why not your business? Why not the money? Because money is on the same frequency. It's the same. And when we finally realize that, and that money is not to be hoarded, just like water, if you take water and you start hoarding it and you just hold on to it, and it's just stale, stagnant water, that's what you're going to end up with. Versus when you let fresh water just flow and flow and flow like a waterfall, right? It's powerful, it's beautiful, it's fresh. at any given second that you tip your cup up under it, right? Versus that nasty stale water that the mosquitoes looking for. We don't want no mosquitoes. We don't want the mosquito water. We want the fresh flowing, ever strong, ever powerful water. That's what you want to have flowing in your life. That's what you want to have flowing in your business. Then you can't keep bottling everything up, scared to death that something's going to happen. You can't function that way. You're not going to be able to move and be able to pivot when needed in your business the way that God is trying to direct you to. Because you're going to be too busy being distracted with fear, which really has no real power whatsoever. It's got no power. We give it the power that is really ours. And when you start getting deeper into metaphysics or deeper into manifesting or even just meditation, which God recommends that you do, meditate on his words day and night, right? But when you get deeper into meditation, one of the things that you start to realize is, or that you can start to be able to do, is that you will realize that you are giving away so much of your energy, which is power, right? You have your emotions, which a lot of people describe as energy in motion. And these emotions that you have that are negative has all of this energy being wasted. Versus if you recognize, ooh, that is negative. I'm not trying to live like that. There's nothing negative about God. No, God does not break you down to build you back up. He ain't said that nowhere. I don't know where people are getting that from. That's crap. Okay. He has everything good for you. I have plans not to harm you, but to prosper you. So again, what these people out here talking about, Chad, that's crazy. No, he's not trying to punish you or get your attention by giving you something negative. That is not how he works. Stop it. But he definitely is always focused on bringing you joy, bringing you an abundant amount of joy, peace, and all of the things in your life that help you feel more fulfilled and always return you back to him. And that is why a lot of people are like struggling with their business because they don't want to return to him. They don't even want to plug into him in the first place. They want to try to figure it out. And I've been guilty of that too. I'm going to figure it out myself. I got to do everything. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. And especially as Black women, we go through a lot. And so it's like, oh, I got to do it. I got to figure it out. But when I finally started listening to the law of non-resistance, right? You got your law of attraction and that's nice. But that law of non-resistance, whew, and you just allow things to flow and you surrender all of these cares of the world and these daily demands and you surrender and just cast those cares onto him. You are good. You are good. And I am in such a more zen-like um, sense of emotions in my life at this point. And that has allowed my business to just flow. And I am so looking forward to helping even more women with that because I know how trying it can be. And so, yeah, remember also that this energy, you can take that negative energy, since energy doesn't get destroyed, but it can get transferred. You take that negative energy and those negative emotions you were having. And when you recognize, oh, that's what I've been living and that's not of God, then you can transfer that energy over into more positive things and start having a mind more like Christ, having that alignment with God and letting your receptors turn to the radio station of WGOD. Okay. And this way, now you're at the right frequency, right? And now you're receiving the message. You getting the music now, right? Instead of all the static. And all this stuff out here in the physical can be very staticky, very distracting. So it's always great to be able to tune back into that right station. And I promise you, the more that you practice that and practice his presence, the more that you will see the changes and the transformation happen in every area of your life, including the business, because he will elevate you. He will lift you up to his level instead of us trying to bring him down to our level. Makes sense, right? Okay. So yeah, make sure that you consider that this whole conservation thing, it's like, what do you need to conserve and save up where you know you have so much of it, you don't even know what to do with? right? You don't have to conserve love. If you were so filled with love, especially real love, the love of God, if you're so filled up with that you're overflowing, what you need to save? If you are so filled with the financial provision that God gives, where there are no circumstances that can keep you from thriving, then you're not worried so much about, oh, I got to save, save, save money. You'll do what Joseph did. And those 7 years that they were storing up money during the time of plenty, so that when the 7 years of famine came, they did what with it? They sold stuff and made more money. So it was less of a savings and it was more of an investment because they made money back. So these are things that you definitely want to think about. If you're going to store something away, have a purpose for it. Oh, I'm storing this away for my flights up out of this country, right? Or I'm storing this for reinvesting it back into my business. Or I'm storing this up to be able to do this for my family or to do this for other people that are in need. That's what the saving needs to be for. It should not be for, I'm scared something will happen to me. If you truly believe that God has got your back no matter what, okay? Plans to prosper you and never to harm you.